As tired as the phrase may be, the old adage remains true. If a student isn't convinced that you care, they just won't care what you know. And you know, the tragedy is what you know is worth knowing. After all, isn't that one of the reasons you became a teacher? Because you wanted others to know the beauty of what you've come to know in the subject that you love to teach. Even more tragic, what if the reason a child didn't care about your class was because they were convinced that you didn't care about them? It would be a travesty because you do care about your students. And this brings us to an important principle. The pathway to learning runs through relationship, and relationships begin with knowing each other. Now you might be thinking, the relationship I have with my student isn't as strong as I want it to be. How can I build a stronger understanding of my students and increase the level of connection and their buy-in? The good news is that there's many actions you can take to start building this knowledge. And today we're going to talk about a few tips on how to better understand and demonstrate knowledge of your students so that they will care about what you know. The first tip, surprise your students early and often with their name. Neuroscientists know that hearing your name spoken in conversation activates areas of the brain associated with self-perception and reward. When you address a student by name, it shows attentiveness, interest, and sets the foundation for a relationship. It signals to the students that they are known and acknowledged on an individual level. Scientists also know that hearing your name, even in a crowded room, well, the hearer will prioritize that voice above all else. And when students feel known at an individual level, psychologically it triggers a desire to respond. The rejection that a student might know being unknown by a teacher they've sat under all year may be optimistically offset by hearing their name early and often. And the best part is weeks before they ever set foot in your class, typically you have a roster. There is power in their names. And once you're using your names, triggering that desire in them to respond, you are in a perfect position for step 2, cultivating the relationship. We all know that strong relationships need to be nurtured, but imagine a relationship where your significant other never takes the time to ask about you or learn your interests or understand your perspective, but only wants to tell you everything that they know. Some of you might think that sounds miserable, and others might be thinking, that sounds like my relationship, and it is miserable. But herein lies the question. Why would we do the same thing in front of our classrooms and expect students to care about us or what we're teaching? But we know why, don't we? The truth is, as teachers, we're constantly dealing with new curriculums, initiatives, preps, unfunded mandates, and short timelines, which can all create immense pressure. Before long, the year starts spinning and it's easy to be thinking, I'm just too busy. And without realizing it, building knowledge of our students starts to seem too time-consuming. But we can't listen to that lie. The truth is, it's too busy not to get to know our students. And in the long run, you will achieve more if you show your students that you truly, deeply know them. Students recognize how hard teachers work. They may not say it, but when you prioritize them amidst the stress of the job, it speaks volumes about the advocate you are for them. Subconsciously, your advocacy for them will draw out their advocacy for you, and they'll become your cheerleaders and break through walls for you because they sense that you do it for them. Relationship greases the wheels of your classroom, allowing things to run more smoothly than if you let the pressures of the job begin to choke out relationship by jumping too quickly into curriculum. Thirdly, engaging their interests. Even the most introverted student will reveal something about themselves if you can discover what they're passionate about. As a teacher, ask your students about their interests. The internet is full of creative and activities to help you find out what excites your students. And when you discover their passions, engage with them by asking about them. I know you'll never be able to do a kickflip, but watch what happens when you ask a student how they do one. Ask about the game yesterday, or compliment them about the band concert. Even if their interests are different from yours, simply commenting about what they enjoy speaks volumes about your heart for them. Put into place this practice and become skilled at it. Make it a goal to know something about each student's passion by the middle of the year. Next, incorporate their accommodations. Just as importantly, become a tactician on how your students learn. Don't let the busyness of the day keep you from knowing about their IEPs and 504s. Those documents are insights into how to get the most out of your student. Use that knowledge to help them grow. Then, as you grow acquainted with IEPs and how they're implemented, ask yourself, are there adaptations I'm making for this one student that could benefit an entire class? Think about automatic doors and how they were designed for wheelchair access, but now they benefit everyone. Similarly, considering how incorporating the strategies you use with your most vulnerable students could help everyone. It's the premise that universal design for learning was predicated on, that when we build environments and strategies that accommodate those with different needs, we improve accessibility for everyone. Next, great teachers are those who use all of this knowledge to build relationships and then leverage those relationships to amplify the learning. John Hattie talks about how teacher-student relationships are the fourth largest predictor of positive student outcomes. And this supports the idea that once you have their hearts, you have their minds. Or in other words, they'll care what you know because they know that you care.